Hello and welcome back to UCL Review, where we put the best results and biggest talking points under the microscope from Europe's premier competition. Joining me, it's James Wayne. Welcome back.
Yeah, you can tell how under pressure we are during the Christmas period if I'm on this 2 times in a few months.
Don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. Always welcome in the UCL Review chair. But yeah, let's get straight into it and let's talk about Bayern Munich 3, Spurs 1, James.
Yeah, Bayern Munich had already confirmed they were going to top the group before this game, but still beat second place Tottenham 3-1, as you just said. Now, in the process, they became the second club to win all 6 of their Champions League group stage games since the new format changed. Real Madrid doing that before in 2011-12 and 14-15. Now, they finished with the maximum points, obviously, and the largest goal difference that Champions League group stage has ever seen. So they're the best you've ever seen a Champions League group stage from Bayern Munich. Their record at home still continues to be imperious. They are now unbeaten in the Allianz Arena for 18 straight games, winning 17 of them. So in the Champions League, that is. Obviously in the league, things are slightly different at this stage. On the night, no, thoroughly deserved the victory, with XG mirroring the 3-1 result. They took 24 shots, 11 on target, and had 70% possession. So,
dominant.
Once again, another dominant performance. Thomas Muller, who came on for the injured Kingsley Coman, really unfortunate night for him.
Again, poor guy, just as he was getting up ahead of steam as well.
It's just one of those things, you see it and you just have to feel bad for him. It's just a guy you just can't catch a break.
Ben back as well.
But, I mean, luckily for some shining light for Bayern was the fact that Thomas Muller did continue his good form under Hansi Flick. 7 goal involvements in his last 6 games. That's 5 assists and 2 goals. On the night, he bagged his 28th Champions League goal at the Allianz Arena. Only 4 players have done more at a single stadium. Comments below if you can figure out who those are.
Get it in there.
Another fun fact, he is the highest scoring Champions League player to have never scored a Champions League hat-trick.
That wasn't even in the script. James is just bringing nuggets.
Look at, I like that, nuggets.
Of information.
Of information,
It's
there we go.
a shame you don't have any chicken nuggets.
I wish I did. Man of the match, though, was undoubtedly Philippe Coutinho, who, like Muller, has seen an upturn in form since Flick's arrival, I should say. Scoring 3 and assisting another 1 in his 4 games. On the night, Coutinho, 1 goal, 89 touches, 1 key pass, 5 shots and 5 dribbles. But, as we previously said, was a sad night for Kingsley Coman, who appeared to snap his ACL. The last time he had a major injury, he said he would retire if he got another. Fingers crossed he doesn't still feel this way. He's only 23. It would be a massive shame because he's a massively talented footballer. Wish him the best, of course, and a hopefully healthy mental and physical recovery.
100%.
Yeah, it's never good.
Yeah, when you're going through so many consistently serious injuries like that, it must be difficult to keep your head up. But yeah, all the best, as James says, to Kingsley Coman. As for Spurs, though, they lost 10-3 across the course of the 2 legs in that group stage. So they can take some solace. I think we were really clutching at straws when we wrote this. That actually, they did slightly better than Arsenal, who lost 10-2 to Bayern Munich in 2017. Mourinho, though, continues his awful away record in Germany. He has lost each of his past 3 away games at Bayern, 3-2 with Chelsea, 2-1 with Madrid, and now 3-1 with Spurs. The Portuguese, though, did play a very heavily rotated team due to the fact they'd already their place in the last 16 had already been confirmed prior to kickoff. Ryan Sessegnon, though, was given his first Spurs start, and it started well. I was reading that 2 years ago to the day last night, he was starting Fulham's 1-0 victory over Birmingham in the Championship. So what a turnaround for the young guy. And he became Spurs' youngest ever Spurs scorer in the competition at 19 years and 207 days. A really nice finish from a deflected Lo Celso pass. And it wasn't easy by any stretch, and putting it past Manuel Neuer at his near post with some proper venom on it as well. Really good finish.
Really enjoyed that.
Mourinho's side, though, are struggling defensively. So far, his side have kept just 1 clean sheet at home to Burnley and averaging 2 goals conceded per 90. So we'll be looking to sort that out as we approach the sort of heavy Christmas period. Eric Dyer took a lot of heat on the night as he captained the Lily Whites. He had a 64% pass accuracy, which is not acceptable from a central midfielder. He lost possession 12 times and won 1 of his 7 attempted duels, so not a good night for Eric Dyer. Christian Eriksen also took pelters. Most are saying that he sort of phoned it in, and his performance suggested that again. 0 dribbles, 1 key pass, 78% pass accuracy. Spurs, I'd advise you sell him for a fee in January, get him out of your club, rather than losing for free in next summer. And he just doesn't seem like he's at it.
Yeah, he's checked out mentally. He doesn't want to be there. He's a fantastic player, and it's a bit of a shame to see him play in this way. He's just, not up for it for Tottenham.
Yeah, I feel like he's dampening the memories of what's been a fantastic must have been a 6 or 7 year spell at Spurs, and he was unreal for his first 5 or 6. So, yeah, not a good way to end Christian. But Spurs now face a nightmare draw, I should say, facing one of Barcelona, Juventus, PSG, Valencia, or RB Leipzig. I don't actually think there's an easy game in that at all. I think the easiest is probably Valencia.
Yeah, they'd want Valencia, but Valencia can be very stubborn.
100%. We saw that in their games against Chelsea and Ajax. They obviously won away on Tuesday night. So Spurs fans, who do you want to face in that last 16, and who do you want to avoid most of all? Let us know in the comments down below, and let's move on to our second game. Just before we get stuck into our second game, just a quick reminder to subscribe to EuroFootball Daily and hit that notification bell so you never miss a UCL review. But next we're heading to Ukraine, James, for Shakhtar Donetsk 0, Atalanta 3.
Yeah, quite an exciting one this. Atalanta beat Shakhtar Donetsk 3-0 away from home with goals from Castagne, Pasalic and Gosens, hopefully I've pronounced them right, to complete a very miraculous recovery, I should say, to secure passage into the last 16 of the Champions League for the first time in their history. The Serie A side just had 1 point from 4 games. The first 4 games, I should say, and they've been beaten 4-0 by Dinamo Zagreb and 5-1 by City in that time. But after securing a point at home to City and then 2 consecutive victories against Zagreb and then Shakhtar, scoring 5 goals in that process and not conceding, to secure them passage into the last 16, as we previously said, but are the first debutants to do so since Leicester City in 16-17, so very, very well done Atalanta. They are also the first side to qualify for the next round of the Champions League after losing their first 3 games since Newcastle United in 2002 and 3.
Oh, the heady days of Newcastle being in the Champions League.
Such a long time ago. Who then missed out on qualifying for the round further, because obviously it's a group stage back then, losing out to Barcelona and Inter. It was a very much deserved victory though for Gasparini's men. They had 51% possession, 17 shots with 8 on target, to the Ukrainians 9 with 2 on target. But they can certainly count themselves lucky. They only collected 7 points, which is the lowest of any second place finish in any of the group stages so far this competition. And their 12 goals in 6 games, 12 conceded goals I should say, in 6 games, is the second lowest of any second place team, apart from the aforementioned Spurs. So it was tight, but I mean, they could be very, very happy they've got through. Very happy.
Definitely. And from a Shakhtar point of view, they only really have themselves to blame. They could have gone through with a point, and they were only 1-0 down when Dodo was sent off, although it was a very harsh red card.
Yeah, I do think it's what, I mean, there's something we'll mention later on that wasn't picked up, but comparing these 2 incidents, yeah, it was a very, very...
I mean, it's more of a touch to Remo Freuler's face.
I think we've seen it before. I think, I can't remember his name, the Serbian who used to play for Liverpool. There was something similar to that where he... Markovic, he kind of, his arm whipped out and he caught someone in the eye, so...
It definitely didn't look as malicious as the incident we'll talk about in due course. And they were also fairly fortunate that Luis Muriel wasn't given a second yellow card for a challenge in the first half. But, you know, unfortunately for Louis Castro's men, the Shakhtar boss, it seems like last 16's run to the last 16 was an anomaly. They've only reached the last 16 in 1 of their last 5 seasons now. And they've generally had a tough time when dropping into the Europa League, which they'll be doing so this year. They've only got past the last 32 in 1 of their last 5 years when competing in the competition. So although they're regulars in the Champions League group stages, when they drop into the Europa League, in recent time they really haven't been making very many inroads in the competition. But they can go back to dominating domestically. They're unbeaten and 13 points above second place Zoya. It's almost a Liverpool situation in Ukraine there. Get a little dig in on James, love it. The key men in this game, the whole side was excellent, but Papu Gomez was influential as ever. 1 interception, 4 dribbles, 1 key pass, 4 shots. He now has 2 goal involvements in his 6 Champions League games. Was very fortunate. Well, it looked very tight. The pass for the first goal, just adjudged to be onside by VAR. Very, very tight indeed.
That's why it's there.
Exactly. Man of the match, though, was left wing-back Gosens. 4 tackles and interceptions, 2 aerial duels, 1 key pass, 2 shots, 1 goal. And it seems like Atalanta could well be dark horses for the competition. So they sit 6th in Serie A, which doesn't sound that great, but that's only 1 point off 4th place Cagliari. And considering the form of Lazio, Juventus, Inter Milan, that's not too bad. And they've scored 37 goals in the league, 2.5 a game, the best record in Italy. I don't think anyone, you might, a lot of the top seeds will look at Atalanta and be like, that's a team I'd like to draw. But they gave, they gave us, at home, they played very well.
Yeah, they were extremely impressive. And out of all the games we've played so far, being City this is, played so far in the Champions League, I thought that one was the most difficult, and I was most impressed by that team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an upset, turning over a side that isn't used to that kind of, fast-paced, just constant attacking side. That
Definitely.
If you've got a weak defence, a dodgy defence, you really don't want to come up against them.
Yeah, and even they put Juventus under a lot of pressure a couple of weeks ago in the league as well. I mean, they were unfortunate to lose 3-1 in the end, but they definitely had them on the ropes at times. Other potential candidates in terms of dark horses, I mean, Atletico Madrid, they've only won 3 of their 6 games, losing to Bayer Leverkusen and Juventus. But when they've qualified from the groups, they've only failed to make it to at least the quarterfinals once in the last 6 years, which was incidentally last year against Juventus when they lost 3-2 on aggregate, having won the first leg 2-0. I think that was the Cristiano Ronaldo hat-trick. And over 2 legs with Atletico Madrid's pretty mean defence, I don't think you'd really want to draw them, although Simeone will be hoping by the time February comes around that he's definitely got more out of his attack. Yeah. Another potential candidate for dark horse, RB Leipzig. They've lost just 3 of their 23 games in all competitions this term. They sit just 1 point behind Gladbach. They obviously topped their Champions League group. It was that slightly weaker group, I think it's fair to say, with Benfica and Lyon. But they've qualified for the knockout stages for the first time in their history. Obviously, their history is relatively brief, but it's still a very good achievement. Werner, Poulsen, Sabitzer, Forsberg, Lima, Upamecano. They've got stars throughout the side, Mukulele as well. So no one will want to draw RB Leipzig. And in terms of genuine dark horses, they'd probably be my pick. In terms of no one's probably expecting them to go much further than the quarterfinals. But I feel like they could definitely spring a surprise.
It's a team that have stars in that are now becoming experienced stars. I mean, as we saw, they came up and on the scene a few years back, and it was just they've kept kind of the core of that team, and experience and winning ways is a dangerous thing. And yeah, I would never underestimate an RB team. I would say Salzburg as well.
Definitely,
if they got through,
the Europa League,
would have been a frightening prospect. But
I think they'll definitely be one of the favourites for the Europa League, along with Inter Milan now. But
definitely.
Guys, we want to hear from you. Who are your dark horses for this year's Champions League, and who do you think is going to win the Europa League? Do you think it's between RB Salzburg and Inter, or do you expect it to be another side? Let us know in the comments down below, and let's move on to our final game. Our final game, James Wayne is delighted to be able to say, is Dinamo Zagreb 1, Man City 4.
Yeah, City finished 7 points clear at the top of their Champions League group last night, having swept past Dinamo Zagreb 4-1 away from home. Now, City have finished the top of their group in the last 3 consecutive seasons and 4 out of the last 5, so really solidifying themselves as like a Champions League favourite.
As an established Champions League team.
I mean, you'd expect it though with everything that's gone in the past kind of decade. Although it wasn't plain sailing for the English side, Damien Cazorla, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, brilliant cross, said that very weirdly, was caught by Spanish star Dani Olmo. Brilliant volley, took away Otamendi, shows that Otamendi really needs to adjust his positioning, and absolutely buried it into the top. Such a great finish. And really put City fans under pressure. Think, well, we were already through, but I mean, it's worrying already that the defence is leaky, and to see that from Dani Olmo was fantastic. City have now conceded first 8 times already this season, which is 1 fewer than they had in the entire of the last season, so 61 games.
Wow.
So it's really, like, the defence right now is just, I could go on for days.
Worries.
No, I don't want to do a Joe and rant on for 20 minutes about it, but it's not in a great shape right now. But then Gabriel Jesus scored his second Champions League hat-trick on the night, not 2 in one night, the second ever Champions League hat-trick, I should say, taking his Champions League career tally to 12, also reaching the 100 milestone for clubs and country. This goal now overtakes Neymar in the youngest Brazilian to reach 10 Champions League goals at 22. I think Neymar was 23 when he managed that. And it also makes this the most prolific season for hat-tricks in the Champions League so far. This is the record for group stages with 9, and also matches the 2016-17 season overall, Champions League hat-tricks.
So we just need one more hat-trick.
One more hat-trick, and we've beaten the record in one season for hat-trick.
Come on, lads, get going.
Already in the group stage, so it's looking good. Foden rounded off the scoring to make it 4-1 on his 50th 50th City appearance, which I've put in quotations, 50th City appearance.
Yeah, a lot off the bench.
Because a lot off the bench, not very many minutes, but I mean, he has reached that milestone, so congratulations to him. And to be fair to him, he had a brilliant night. Heavily involved in all 4 goals, 101 touches, 92% pass accuracy, 2 key passes, 5 dribbles and 3 tackles and interceptions.
Love it.
So an all-round brilliant performance from him. And now he also joins Wayne Rooney, Theo Walcott and Jadon Sancho as the highest scoring English teenagers in the Champions League with 3.
Fair play. Really nice.
So not many minutes, but a lot of games. But he's still proving himself to be as talented as we're all building him up to be.
Before I move on to Dinamo Zagreb, do you see his minutes improving over the Christmas period?
Oh,
or
hopefully,
going into
yeah.
the start
I
of
mean,
next year?
we're seeing the ushering of him in and the David Silva out. That's been the plan the whole time. I really, really hope we don't mess this situation up like Manchester United did with Paul Pogba. I've said it a few times. We need to usher him in, get him more minutes. I know it's been a bit of a meme recently with, Foden's played 5 games but 20 minutes, or all this silly stuff. But we're ushering him in for a new age of hopefully our second David Silva, English David Silva.
Oh, how exciting that would be. But yeah, as I said, on to Dinamo Zagreb, and they can hold their heads high. This was their first Champions League campaign for 3 years, and the 20-time Croatian champions who have won 12 of the last 13 domestic titles wouldn't have expected to go through after the draw was made. Their 10 goals scored in 6 games is only topped by Salzburg with 16 and Ajax with 12 of teams to have not qualified for the next stage. So they definitely brought some attacking flair. Not least from 26-year-old Miroslav Orsic, who contributed 4 goals and 1 assist in 6 games.
Very good.
Averaged 3.2 shots per 90 across the competition. Obviously got that hat-trick in their opening win against Atalanta. Well done to Orsic. Looks like one, well, I was about to say for the future, but for the here and now really at 26. But Dani Olmo at 21 certainly is one for the future.
100%.
Obviously that fantastic goal on the night. In his first Champions League campaign, he's finished with 2 goals, 1 assist, 2.2 shots, 1 key pass and 3 dribbles per 90, which is the sort of stats you'd expect from a more seasoned veteran. So well done Dani Olmo, looking like he could be, I don't know whether he'll be picked up in January, but definitely next summer. I think there's rumours that Barcelona want him back at La Masia, having come through that system.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be a lot of big European teams looking at him, having just the under 21 Euros, under his belt. The way he performed in that competition got people looking, and this can only help. Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
I think it was a goal in that final as well. Like Shakhtar, Dinamo Zagreb can return to their promising domestic situation. They are 9 points ahead of their big rivals Hajduk Split as it stands. The key performers in this game, so back to City, unfortunately. Mendy, great, probably his best game of the season so far.
I'd say that too.
90% pass accuracy, 4 tackles and interceptions, 1 dribble, 3 key passes, 1 shot, 1 assist. If City can get him back fully fit and firing, that's a serious weapon to have into the second half, I should say, of the Premier League campaign and the latter stages of the Champions League. So Guardiola will be definitely looking to keep on massaging that comeback. Man of the match, though, had to be Gabby Jesus. 2 tackles and interceptions, 2 dribbles, 2 key passes, 4 shots, 3 goals. In terms of potential opponents for Man City, though, it looks pretty difficult. Atletico Madrid, Dortmund, Lyon, Napoli and Real Madrid. So some big clashes in there. James, who would you most want and who would you most want to avoid?
I mean, it's not great. I would say Atletico Madrid out of that lot, as in the big clashes I'd want, just for the fact that the things we struggle on are just repeated attacks. Teams that have a lot of pace and will do devastating things, and Atletico Madrid's attack isn't quite there, as well as not having the pace that would really frighten us. But one thing we haven't mentioned is the elbow.
Yes.
The elbow on Rodri. That was
the malicious thing we were mentioning,
completely not picked up by VAR. Really, really riled me up. Just for the fact of, you'll hear it a lot from me this season about VAR not performing in the right ways. This one was just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
It was violent, it was actually disgusting.
And I don't understand why VAR, or how it really works, or why things aren't getting picked up, because it was clearly missed by the ref. So once again, VAR, the underperformer of the night, for me, definitely.
Definitely. I feel like it has been working better in the Champions League. I mean, that's to be expected in the Premier League with it being the first campaign it's in use. But yeah, that is the sort of error that will frustrate players and managers throughout Europe definitely should have been avoided, and poor Rodri as well.
He got up and continued the game, but yeah, it's just, it's pathetic. Really.
Left a sour taste in the mouth. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed UCL Review better than Rodri would have enjoyed his night last night. But yeah, that's all we've got time for on UCL Review. Thank you very much for watching even. James, what should they go and do now?
The Stat Wars season has ended, but the playoffs are coming up, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Apart from that, just watch all of our great stuff, comment, like, subscribe, all the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Hot Takes is coming out today.
Oh, true,
and Paul Zach's had about 8 hours to edit it. So yeah, go and watch that. And thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you later.